Hey, everybody, I'm live with my Jewish sister, Miss Dalia. Yay, is here. And we are excited because we want to talk and share and just kind of, what do they call that in the Hebrew? Midrash? We just want to midrash about Passover, not in just this religious terminology either. Of course, we will discuss Moses a little bit and all of that. And because that retelling is important, it's important because it makes us remember, that we're loved by God, and that the impossible really isn't impossible, but also that we're better together, because as Israel came together and moved forward, I look at what happened from Red Sea parting and all kinds of stuff, but also the significance prophetically of Passover and in this season that we're in. So much. Dolly and I were just like a tennis ball, bouncing things back and forth over the weekend, texting, talking, and now sharing even before we went live to see all of you. Man, it is amazing what Passover symbolizes, and not just for the Jewish people. It is for all of us. And that's important, because sometimes as we were talking, we can like segregate ourselves. Well, I'm Jewish, well, I'm Christian, well, I'm this, well, I'm that. Well, truth is that God set these things like Passover in the earth for us to continue to utilize them, and he points at them, and we're supposed to point at them because they are supposed to drive us to a higher place. And so I want to just thank you, Miss Dalia, for being here today. We're just here to chit chat and to just blow our minds and our hearts with the goodness of Passover, and really get a supernatural understanding. So Dalia, hello. Why don't you start us out and just talk a little bit about Passover?
Yeah, hello, Pamela, my dear Pamela, my dear sister. We are actually okay. Happy Passover to everyone.
Yes.
Happy Easter and happy life to everyone. I just want, for the record, to say I'm not a rabbi, and I'm not here to talk about any, official, to be a representative of any official idea. We are together here to inspire by the story of Passover, because it has so much significance to all of us. And when Pamela said to all of us, we mean that.
Yes.
The story of Passover is very significant because the Passover themes are freedom from slavery, renewal, and new beginnings. And only about these three themes we can write stories and books and speak about forever. Because think about freedom from slavery. Does this mean only from being slaves of Pharaoh? No. Does this mean that we are still slaves in some ways? Yes. Does this mean we better stop at least once a year and see where are we still slaves, and see what are we going to get to be free from?
Yes.
And are we really free? Are we really free thinkers? Are we really free people walking in this world, looking from our point of view, or we just take everything that's out there and say, I do?
Right.
Renewal. What does it mean, renewal? Do we really get up every morning like a new person, starting a new life with the enthusiasm of a newborn? Do we? Not sure about that. New beginnings. Are we really that optimistic about life? That new beginnings are possible at any stage, at any level, at any point in life, doesn't matter what are the circumstances. We can bring bring out new in our lives in any area. So it's big questions, and this night of Pesach, of Leila Seder, doesn't start in Leila Seder. This night of Leila Seder actually starts in the 1st of Nisan, which is a month before, okay? And no, it starts, a month before the night of the Seder, which means, and we start cleaning, okay? Cleaning our home. We start cleaning and renewing and throwing out everything that's not in use or not in good energy, and replace the energy in our home and the place that we live in. But while cleaning the home, we should clean inside too.
Yes.
Think about things. Be aware of things that we don't need anymore, that we want to get free from, that are keeping us in a place that we don't really want to be, and to enable, first of all, to clean. What does it mean to clean? To free space, right?
Yes.
If
Oh,
you
that's
want,
good. That's so good. Go ahead.
if you want to download new program into your computer, there is no space, you first have to free some space so you can download a new awareness, a new um, um, possibilities into your life. Because if it's all clogged, I mean, there is no space. So there is a month of preparation before you come into this place, into this point, to just empty space, get rid of some old stuff that you don't really need anymore. You're done with it, and out of awareness, prepare yourself to be ready for this special night. Leil Seder. Leil, which means night. Seder means order. Okay, a new order. Okay, it's to order yourself, and it's to reorganize your life. Okay, so and actually, and when we clean, I just want to get back a little bit. When we clean, is to clean emotions, to clean old thoughts, to clean traumas, to clean, to maybe look at some of our qualities, or I would say some of our automatic behaviors that we recognize, and we say, I better live without that. I better change it to this or that, something that will support you better, that will encourage you better, that will make you more happy, more friendly, more healthy, more, I don't know, anything that you want to better in your life. So you come to this Leila Seder and you ask the question, מה נשתנה? What has been changed? What is changed? How is this night different from any other night? Okay? How is it? And let's ask not about Leila Seder. How is this day is going to be different from yesterday and from my past? How is it even possible? I see Leila Seder. It's powerful only if you're aware of the things that you read and do. It's not powerful if you just read it as a story, because it's only a story. Okay, it's a story. But if you get into the details, and there are so many hidden wisdom here that we cannot go through in our call, but we will touch them, and everyone can go into it and find for their lives how they can use that. But there are many hidden stories, and the first thing is to be aware that for my life tomorrow to be different, or today to be different, I need to change something. There is no if I don't change, if I don't make a significant change, and Leila Seder, believe me, nothing at home is the same. You replace all the dishes, all the different food, the people. Okay, we are all dressed in new clothing. Everybody's dressed in new clothing. Everything is new. We don't eat bread. We eat only matzah. We do everything different, and we read the scripture, and it's a command to tell the story of Passover from generation to generation. I mean, it's not something, it's engraved in our tradition. And why is it so important just to make sure that everybody knows about this story about Egypt? So the story is the story, okay? We were slaves. God and Pharaoh wanted to kill us all, and God saved us. But let's go deep and
Yeah.
see how stubborn we were as a nation, okay? As slaves, okay? As slaves, how stubborn we were. He had to go through 7 major miracles to show us that we should follow him. We were
Right.
stubborn. We wasn't open to see that something good is happening to us, because you want to hold on to your past. You want to hold on to your story as you know it, to make a move, to go out of slavery. What did he say? What did he want to give them freedom instead of slavery? But I'm not sure a slave wants freedom. Sometimes a slave wants to still be a slave.
Oh my
You
gosh. Hey, Dahlia, I have to stop you there because that was, I mean, everything is so powerful, but what you just said is a drop the mic moment. Sometimes a slave wants to stay there.
Yes.
Talk about that, please.
Pamela, you and I are coaches. We are leading people to their greatness. We want to help them. Sometimes you find out that the person, as much as you want for them, you want for them big things. You see their potential, but they don't see it. They cannot go out of their whatever box they are in. They cannot see what you see about them. Okay, and whatever you juggle and whatever your imagination would bring you to get them out of their stuck position, sometimes you will find out that their slavery is stronger than their future they are supposedly wishing for.
Because they're stuck.
They're stuck, and when you're stuck, you don't see. You
Yeah.
not only see physically, you don't use your imagination. You're stuck in your thoughts, in your imagination. And what can get you out of there? Only your imagination. Nothing else. What so they were so stubborn, and the miracles one after the other, even in the last moment, okay? They were about to get killed. And the last moment, God did the most, powerful thing. And He says, immediately after that, you have to run. No thinking anymore. He shut down their thing. Immediately after that, you have to run to the ocean and cross the ocean. And yeah, so much doubt, so much. Mm. And it brings out so much, so many questions about leadership. What does it take to lead someone? What does it take? Can you lead everybody? Can you lead all the time? What type of a leader can you should be to be able to take all these stubborns and follow you, to make them follow you, right? So there are a lot of questions and a lot to speak about, and I see correlation between coaching and Passover, because every time I read this Haggadah, Haggadah, by the way, is to speak up, to say, okay? Lehagid is to say. So every time we read the Haggadah, I see coaching lessons here, one after the other. And I'm thinking, okay, God was the best coach ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he was, and okay, and so they crossed the ocean, and the biggest miracle ever, the ocean just opened up and let them go with their horses and carriages and everything. And they come out on the other side to the desert. And then he makes them go 40 years on the desert, on a journey of after the Exodus. He made them walk 40 years on the desert. That from Egypt to Israel, I can walk. Okay, I'm not a good walker, but I can walk in 2 weeks. Okay.
Right.
And if you have a horse, 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
But he made them walk 40 years. What for? Why do they have to walk 40 years in the desert? He made them walk 40 years of the desert because there is no way to take one awareness and change it to another awareness without the changing of the software. Okay, the changing of the awareness, make them become something different when they go on the other side. Because think about it, slavery to freedom. Slavery to freedom, it's a big gap.
It is. Yeah.
The big gap. How do you make a slave become a free man, a free thinker, a free person, a free man, just in 2 weeks? It's you have to earn it. You have to
there's a process, right?
Yeah.
There's a process.
And there is a process to change. It's not a chip that you change. It's a process of, okay, so of course you see the stubbornness, you see the old programming coming out in the desert, in all the story, and you still see miracles. You see miracles that today we cannot do. You see, the manna was provided to them every day. This is the most highest technology ever created. We don't have this technology today. He could pick up something to be whatever you want to be. This is the manna. The manna was nothing, okay? And if you wanted a steak, it would become a steak. If you wanted the ice cream, it would become an ice cream. If you wanted a scrambled eggs, it will become a scrambled eggs. This is the technology we don't have today, but we had it 3,000 years ago. Because there was no kitchen and no refrigerators, and they were walking on the desert from one point to another. This is the only thing, and they were complaining about that too.
Yeah.
They were constantly complaining about. I wish I could have that now.
Right.
But
Right.
it's more, yeah, but it's more than that. It's even more than that. It's even more profound. And why I'm saying that? Because think about it. We know the human ability, the higher human ability is to create anything. We have the ability to create anything, right?
So true.
And he wanted to show them that they actually can create anything, because when we were in heaven, okay, each one of us, we could think about something and create it right away.
Sure.
To my understanding, we begged for a more interesting game. So we
Mm.
got the game. The game is here in the physical world.
We're
But
in the game. I love
yeah,
that. Game on.
yeah, game on. But you have to remember that you still have these qualities that you can create here,
Yes.
whatever you want, because you're the same
Yeah.
entity
Same. Mm-hmm.
with same abilities, and you can still create here in this physical place. Of course, the physical um, rules or laws are working on the physical world, and it's a little bit different because there is a gap from imagination to actually creating in the physical world, but it's still possible. And we forget that we are spiritual beings in a physical body. We are not a physical body with a spiritual.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. We are spiritual beings living in a physical body,
Mm-hmm.
and we still have the same qualities, the same great, the same abilities to create whatever we want to. But it's still, it's the it's the connection
Mm.
between the two entities. It's You have to make them one again.
That is
So
so powerful, Dahlia. I have taken a couple of notes of things that you said. Can I circle back to them? Would that be okay with you?
absolutely,
Oh my
with pleasure.
gosh, I'm so excited. First of all, this is so good because when we're told that the practice of Passover is supposed to continue, a lot of times people don't understand, well, if they weren't brought up Jewish, what does that mean? How do I continue it? Right? You have given such understanding and taken us to school here. And so some of the notes that I wrote down was about the cleaning, because yeah, that is something that is really where the whole idea of spring cleaning came from. That's where it came from. And we get stuck, whether it's in the Jewish community or others, like, oh, I gotta clean. But you brought something out that I think we all are aware of, but I just want to hone in on it here, that this is a season that God and his glorious universe, as I like to call it, are highlighting out with the old. And that you said, shouldn't we at least once a year, like, not just reflect on maybe everything that we want to change, but actually getting rid of stuff and stepping into the change, because that's what all of this is about. And I really wrote that down. We can't get that new download until we make room for it. And that's one of the symbolisms of Passover, is cleaning out and making room, and how easy it is to just get stuck there, right? And like not make room on the inside. And that's a huge part of Passover, is to make room on the inside. Go ahead. What were you going to add?
I just wanted to add something that I missed earlier. There is a ritual of burning the chametz, burning all the flour, the bread, all the things that we shouldn't have in over Passover, burning it.
Mm,
So taking it back to coaching, sometimes you have to do the burning
Yes.
of the old. If it's old manifestations, all the relationship, old ruins, old pain, old whatever, old stories that we want to get rid of and just burn it down,
Well,
because
it's gone then, because once you burn it up, no, you don't necessarily need to go burn anything, y'all. But I mean, you could write it all out and go burn it, as simple as that.
you do have, because we live in a physical world. This
And it
is,
gives that connection, right? Right.
yes,
Okay. I see what that, but that's powerful. But when we burn it, it's gone. It's no longer there. We've literally, burnt it down to nothing. So that cleaning, I love that. I'm so glad that you brought that out. I forgot about that tradition
yeah,
of actually burning it up. That's
yeah.
really powerful. I also loved how you gave us some new definitions. Now, the Seder plate, or, as I've always called it, I always knew that it had to do with the order, but I love how you took that into saying the new order, reorganize, and what is changed. You asked that question, those questions of Passover. Why is tonight any different, right? What is different? What is changed? What a deep time for all of us to realize that this season that we're in, we could just blow it off and ignore it, and then nothing changes. We could honor it as simply that is strictly a religious, and that's good that it is something religious for you, but there's, and even spiritual for you, because it is. But now we can take it and take that spiritualness, all that it means, and personalize it, and not in a selfish way, just for me, but realizing that the more we're willing to change, we're willing to clean out, right, Dalia? That we're willing to say, hey, how am I going to be different going forward? What's different? What's changing in me? That means we're stepping into greater greatness, which means what? The world, our world globally, but the world that you circle in, the world that I circle in, everything is going to be different and better because we've changed. And that, I mean, like, I took 3 pages of notes on that. You said Seder means do things differently. And then you talked about not holding on to the past. The Israelites couldn't hold on to the past. Well, they could, and they did. I understand that. But literally, the past was covered in the sea. It was gone. They couldn't see it anymore. All of that physical past. Then you said they went into the desert, which, yes, could have been done in a couple of weeks, but as they were in that renewal process, because you can't go into that promised land with a slavery mentality, it's not going to work, right? And so Passover is asking us, are we holding on to our past? Because that will keep you going around the mountain again, right? Am I right?
Around and around.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Wow.
also, yeah, and also I forgot another thing is Haggadah, as I said, is lahagid, is to say, right? So we are obliged to say the words every year, because sometimes when you say a script, it's it's connecting you to the meaning, to the deepest meaning, to the origin. It's beyond words, it's beyond, but also keep in mind how powerful is saying, how powerful are the words, how powerful are the words that your brain tells you all day long. do
Mm.
you have do you have do you have control over what's going on here talking to you all day, or
Wow.
do you have control over what you are saying all day to yourself and to others?
That is so powerful. And how many times have I led a Seder? Many years, because that's part of what I practice and do. And how many times have I read through, how did you say it? Haggadah? Is that
Haggadah.
Haggadah?
Haggadah.
Okay, I was close in my
Yeah,
pronunciation.
yeah,
That was close. And we talk about that, the telling. And I will camp on, what are you telling yourself? but also that repetitiveness, which you see in the telling as you're sitting around retelling the story. The repetitiveness of it is, again, showing us the importance of what we say, what we speak about, we bring about. I mean, Jesus himself said, hey, you'll have what you say. Haggadah, right? And this is so important that we monitor that and decide what's going to be different right now. What are we saying that we're not going to say anymore? I just really believe that this is you and I being together right now is like a sword in time, like literally like a sharp sword that's dividing out right now to those that are listening now or later. And that all of heaven is saying to you, what are you saying that you shouldn't be saying? And how are you going to change that? Well, we know that's by that constant space repetition. We have to begin to say something different. Remember the good things, speak about them, but we need to begin to move forward, as you said. And that was through our saying. And I wrote this note down. It was not just our saying, but you said with passion, speak up, speak up. And I was like, wow, that is powerful. How many people are not using their voices to speak up, even ourselves, when it comes to speaking up to ourselves, right? Not just tell your story out to the world, but do you sell yourself on yourself every day? Anyways, that just really spoke to me, and I wanted to share that. Wow, wow, wow. And then you said, be aware and make changes. But then you circled back and you said significant changes. I would say Passover shows us the power of significant changes, to go from being slave to free, to go from being cornered in by the enemy, so and the water in front of you, and the ocean opening up and then it closing behind you, and you're safe. And now manna and fire and all that you said about manna, that makes so much sense. Incredible. God himself demonstrated significant change, but now he's asking us to demonstrate it in our lives, right? And this is the power of Passover, everyone. And it connects into your life personally. Wow, that is a lot. And you also talked about leadership. I loved that because, yeah, leadership is not about just leading. It's about that wisdom. And really, Moses had to be doing he wasn't perfect, but he had to practice what he preached in order to lead this, as you called him, this stubborn group, right? He had to see the greatness in them. Otherwise, he would have probably left them. What do you have to say? I'm sorry. I just wanted to interject some of the things that you were saying because they were so powerful. So yeah, can you what's on your heart to share next?
As you were speaking, I was reminded that we should emphasize that when we go after this, the thing that we really want to, and we have this moment that we have to act.
The moment we act.
The,
Yes.
the parting of the ocean was nothing compared to the fear and this, and the
Yes.
stuckness and the unknown. It was nothing. When you actually think about it, all the fear that we have and all the thoughts and all the worry are was nothing at the end of it, because it's all about just giving yourself the chance, the
Oh, that's
just
so good.
moving forward. And maybe you can take it from here.
But
This was
I feel that. I feel that we're not minimizing the parting of the Red Sea, the parting of the ocean. We're not minimizing that. But can you imagine Okay, Dalia, here we are. Let's go back, a few generations. And there we are. I would be blessed to stand next to you, and we see the Red Sea open. Now, that is a miracle. But yes, maybe a bigger miracle is that Israel stepped in. I think I'd be a little bit nervous. Has anybody here been nervous about that or scared to step into the unknown? When that door of opportunity opens, to step in? And you're so right, because they couldn't just lollygag. I mean, they had to make a step, and they had to run, because the past was running up behind them, and they needed to run.
And to block this, to block the thinking, to block the what's going to happen, to block that, you have to run
You
into it.
do. You have to put on blinders, don't you? And here they're running. And isn't that what happens? There's these little dog and pony shows over here. Here's the water. It's going to come down on you. And you hear those footsteps behind you. The past is catching up with you. And you need to run into your next. You need to run into that opportunity. Oh my gosh.
You have this hint, you have to run into it.
You have to run into it.
Yes.
Passover is about running. When that door, I wrote down, when the water parts, it's your moment to act. You don't hesitate. You run towards it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got goosebumps. That is so powerful.
Let's talk about leadership.
Yes.
Moses, Moses. He couldn't speak.
Right?
He couldn't.
And will you say his name in Hebrew for us so people could hear it?
Moshe.
Thank you.
So Moses couldn't speak. And you don't think about a leader as someone that cannot speak, right? A leader should be speaking, telling you what to do, telling you, sharing ideas, philosophy. And Moshe was.
Yeah.
Who wants to listen to someone like that? And Moses was the best leader for this time, because he was very modest. He was very compassionate. He was arguing with God to give them another chance and another chance and another chance and another chance. He gave his life for them. He didn't care about anything. He just wanted them to succeed. And at the end of the day, he was not able to get into Israel, to the promised land. And you come to think about it, and you say, but he was the leader. He gave them everything. Okay. But it wasn't about him. It was all about them. It was all in service, full service, nothing about himself.
Oh, say it again. Say it again.
When you're a leader, all you're supposed to do is to lead out of service, to be of service.
Boom.
You are only the vehicle, the someone that's there to enable something in the world, but nothing is for you. Nothing is about you. It's not about your ego. It's not about your accomplishments. It's not about anything. Of course, you gain something in the process because your spirit is in a higher place now when you gave such a service. But it's nothing to sell. Nothing that anybody else can buy.
Right.
Yeah, it's and this is a leadership. I think the highest leadership example.
I agree.
You're 100% about the service that you're supposed to be. He was of service to God and of service to the people. He was, and I wish that our leaders these days would be all for the people, and the people's interest would be the most important thing, and not their interest, their personal interest, or anything about their gains.
That's
Leading,
powerful. And you know, as you're saying that, this is what is bubbling up in my heart. It was the servant leadership of Moses, of Moshe, that was utilized for the miracle of leading the people of the parting of the Red Sea. And you know, it was what was in his hand, right? God said, put forth your hand. And it wasn't that he had a staff, like, oh, okay, we all got to walk around with a staff in our hand. No, it was his gifting and his calling. That's what he was putting forth. And it was that gifting surrendered to that leadership of servanthood that you're talking about. It was through that leader and that gift surrendered that the miracles transpired. So when we see leaders that are willing to put forth their, what's in your hand, that's what I'm going to use. Which means what is your gifting? What's your talent? What's your ability? If you'll surrender that, there's going to be miracles that are going to be had. And so I'm thinking about, as you said, different leaders that are not doing that. We're not going to see that, those miracles through their hands, so to say, but it will be through the hands of those who have a heart like Moshe. That's where we are going to see the miracles transpire. I always have found it amazing that God is God, and he could have just said, sea part, but he didn't. He said, I'm going to do it through you. What's in your hand? That's what I'm going to work with. So like, everybody look at your hand, and this is a symbolic thing, and think about, what is it that you do? What is your gift? What is the greatness in you? Stretch that forth. And that was an act of obedience and surrender. Come on, who stands on a rock or whatever, wherever he was at that moment, over then goes, ugh, I mean, that was an act of obedience and surrender. And that parted the sea. And Dalia, it wasn't just for Moshe, like you said. It was for all of Israel, all of us. And I love in the Ten Commandments movie with Charlton Heston. I don't know what it was like on that day, but you see Moses standing up in that high place with that staff out, and all of Israel going in. And I had that visual as you're speaking, because you said it's not about you. It's about serving others. And I just had that visual of him using his gifts, stretching out that staff, and that miracle, and everybody getting through. And of course he did as well, but it wasn't about, hey, here I am, the big bad Moshe, and I'm parting the waters, and it's all about me. On either side, he was there to be a symbol of goodness and the greatness of God, but of complete surrendered leadership. The people, and outside of when they had their stubbornness, they could trust him, because he was transparent. He put that staff out there for all to see. These leaders that you're talking about, whether they're in the political realm, religious realm, business realm, they're not going to be the ones that the sea is going to part for. It's going to be the leaders that you are talking to us about today, that have that serving heart. And that's you, Dalia. That's me. That's so many of us out here. Do you believe that? Are you going to make space for that? Like, are you going to let that download get in you? Are you going to think differently? Are you going to stretch forth what's in your hand so we can change the world? Wow, is Passover powerful?
Amen. Amen. You said it so perfectly. So I would not want to to.
Dalia, would you?
I just want to say,
Yes.
Moses didn't sit down and argue with God. He didn't sit down and say, oh, what if? Oh, you know,
Ridiculous.
they're afraid. Poor them. Oh, you know, please give us another day. Oh, you know, we're not ready yet.
So true.
He
Oh my
did.
God. No.
He just did exactly what he was told, and was the best example for them. A clean channel, a clean channel.
He was trusting the process.
Trusting the process. He was a clean channel. He was all for them.
Wow. And he was attached to the outcome. He knew the end from the beginning, but he wasn't married I would say be married to the purpose, not the plan. Let the plan change. He knew what needed to happen. And he was not going to get sidetracked by, oh, there's walls of water on each side. Oh, I hear the past coming up on, oh, I have these people murmuring and complaining about me. He was all in,
Yeah.
right? All in. Oh my goodness. I just want to challenge everybody here that's listening to really go within in this season. Whether you do it, you can do it anytime, but Passover highlights it. I believe that there's open heavens, open portals over certain times in the year where things are being highlighted, and it's just, it's like a smooth trek. You just get it in that flow, whoosh, and go there. And that this is one of those seasons for all of us, if we will be aware of it and then say yes to it, that God is calling out to you today, and he wants to coach you today and say, are you all in? Ready, set, go. Don't be concerned about the dog and pony show. Don't be concerned about, because the waters are going to they're going to open and they're going to close behind you, and all the manna that you need. That means manna is like it's whatever you needed. What do you need? Manna is provided for you. Just put out your staff and believe only, and watch the miracles and the magic happen, because they will happen. Dalia, if you have anything else that you want to share before we wrap up, I want to give you the last words, but then I was going to ask you if there is a Hebrew blessing over Passover, or one that would just be on your heart, like even the prayer, the blessing of Moses. Would you pray over all of us that blessing in Hebrew so that we could hear it? Whatever's
First,
on your heart.
first of all, I would like to say thank you, Pamela. I would like to say that Egypt is a state of mind. Egypt is not a place.
Yeah.
Egypt is a state of mind. And
Mhm.
going out of Egypt is going out of your old state of mind to a new one, to rebirth. Okay, just to close down the I would also want to say that Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, Mitzrayim, and in Hebrew there are so many meanings for this word. Every word is here by purpose, by design. And so Mitzrayim is a narrow place. The meaning of Mitzrayim is Meitzar, is a narrow place. And when a baby is born, he's going out of a narrow place. So you are reborn over Passover. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, Pamela. Yes, I see you, and I see that you are newborn.
New beginnings.
New beginnings. I see that, and I just want to say, yes, a narrow place can be a little bit. I have to push myself through, but when I do this push, and it's a matter of minutes,
Yeah.
I wake up to a new world.
Yes.
And it's worth it, because a newborn, everybody that holds a baby in his arms knows what does it mean. It's a new future, a new world, a new beginning, a new opportunity, and you're everything. It's a whole world in your hands, a whole world in your hands.
Yes. Whole new world.
A
Press
whole new world.
through that narrow place and into the new world. Well, I love hearing the Hebrew language. So, some people's romance language is like French, mine's Hebrew, okay? It's my heartbeat.
It's a prayer of, it's a blessing about mm, being wealthy in all areas of your life. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אזן את העולם כולו בטובו, בחן, בחסד וברחמים. הוא נותן לחם לכל בשר כי לעולם חסדו, ובטובו הגדול עמנו תמיד, לא חסר לנו ואל יחסר לנו מזון לעולם ועד. בעבור שמו הגדול, כי הוא אל זן ומפרנס לכל ומיטיב לכל ומכין מזון לכל בריאותיו אשר ברא, כאמור פותח את ידיך ומשביע לכל חי רצון. ברוך אתה אדוני אזן את הכל. There is only one source for everything. And when you're opening up, say your be grateful and thanks for everything that you have, and everything that you have shouldn't be only the material things that you have right now, but everything that you have. Yes. Your life, your breath, your health, and everything else that you have and you want to and you wish to thank for, and also the things that you think you don't have, but they are here, just waiting for you to reveal. Thank for them. Just thank for everything that you have. You have what you don't think you have as well. Just thank for it. And you will have it. You will be blessed with it.
What is the appropriate way to greet or to close to say happy Passover? How should we say that as we close out today to everyone in Hebrew?
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach?
Chag Sameach is a happy, yeah. Chag Sameach, and all the very best to all the people around the world.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. Toda Rabbah.
You're most welcome, my dear.
We are so thankful that you all gathered with us around the mountain today, the mountain of his presence. Whether you're live with us or you're later, reach out if you have any questions. And thank you so much. And happy Passover and many blessings. Thanks for tuning in with us today. We love you.